Let's start with a picture. Imagine a city where justice isn't just a law, it's the very air people breathe. A place where every home shines with prosperity, and the people genuinely love their king. Well, that city was Ayodhya. And this is where our story begins. The story of a prince who was destined to change the world.
So Ayodhya seems to have it all, right? It's this gorgeous, sprawling city on the banks of the Surya River, ruled by the amazing King Dasharatha. I mean, the guy is brave, he's virtuous, everything you'd want in a ruler. But even in this picture-perfect kingdom, there was this quiet, lingering sadness. Something was missing. One single, crucial thing.
You see, for all his power, his three wonderful queens, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra, and the love of his people, King Dasharatha had no children. And as he got older, that anxiety started to grow, not just in his own heart, but throughout the entire kingdom. I mean, people were starting to wonder, who's going to carry on this great lineage? Who will sit on the throne of Ayodhya?
Well, things finally reached a breaking point. The king, just unable to bear this heavy heart any longer, goes to his royal sage, Vashishta. And you can just imagine his voice, filled with despair as he says, "Gurudev, I have everything a man could ever want, but my heart is empty. Is my line really going to end with me?"
But the wise sage, Vashishta, offers him a glimmer of hope. He calmly tells the king not to despair. He says, there's a solution laid out in the scriptures. It's called the Putra Kameshti Yagna. It's this incredibly powerful sacred fire ceremony designed to please the gods. But there's a catch. To do it right, they need the great sage Rishyashrunga himself to lead the ritual.
That's all the king needed to hear. A wave of hope just washes over him, and he agrees on the spot. Messengers are sent out, Sage Rishyashrunga is brought to Ayodhya with the highest honors, and an announcement is made. The whole kingdom just erupts in this massive celebration, getting ready for the ceremony like it's the biggest festival they've ever seen.
And so the yajna begins. Imagine the scene. Sage Rishyashrunga's powerful mantras are filling the air, offerings are being poured into the fire, and the flames are just blazing with this incredible otherworldly glow. And then, after days and nights of this, something truly miraculous happens. A shining divine being literally walks out from the heart of the fire, holding a golden pot.
And this being speaks with a voice that just booms with authority and delivers the one message the entire kingdom had been praying for. The gods were happy. This pot, it contained a divine sweet pudding, a kheer, that was the direct result of all their prayers and devotion. The promise had been made.
King Dasharatha, with just so much reverence, accepts the pot. Back in the palace, with the sage's guidance, he carefully divides the kheer. He gives half of it to his eldest queen, Kaushalya. Then he divides the rest between Kaikeyi and Sumitra. And with that one simple but deeply meaningful act, the wheels of destiny started turning.
And sure enough, in time, the prophecy came true. It was on the 9th day of the month of Chaitra, a day when the stars were aligned in a way that was considered absolutely perfect for a divine birth, that the first joy arrived in Ayodhya.
Queen Kaushalya gave birth to Rama, and they say the child had a glow so divine it was like the sun itself had come down to earth. Then, soon after, Kaikeyi gave birth to Bharata, and then Sumitra gave birth to twins, Lakshmana and Shatrugna. All the sorrow of Ayodhya was just washed away in this huge flood of celebration. The kingdom didn't just have one heir, it now had four.
And here's what's so fascinating. Each brother was unique, embodying a different core virtue. Rama, he was all about dignity and compassion. Bharata was the very picture of sacrifice and justice. Lakshmana, his defining traits were his fierce loyalty and resolve, and Shatrugna was all about quiet service and protection. Their bond was legendary, a perfect team of different, complementary strengths.
So, okay, why does this ancient story still hit so close to home for so many of us? Well, I think it's because the struggles they faced back then in Ayodhya are in a lot of ways the same struggles we face today.
Think about it for a second. King Dasharatha literally had everything: power, riches, respect, but he still felt this deep emptiness inside. How many of us can relate to that? You might have the great career, the money, the status, but you still have that nagging feeling that something's missing. The key takeaway, though, is what he did about it. He didn't just ignore it. He faced it and chose a path that combined real effort with real faith.
And the story of the four brothers, that's a huge lesson for today's world, where we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially siblings or colleagues.
What they teach us is that everyone has their own unique part to play. Any family, any company, any team really, it needs all those qualities to succeed. It needs Rama's leadership, Bharata's sense of sacrifice, Lakshmana's loyalty, and Shatrughna's quiet dedication. Real strength comes from harmony, not from trying to be better than the next person.
So let's fast forward a few years. The princes are growing up, they're learning the scriptures, they're mastering weapons, and a wonderful, blissful peace is settled over Ayodhya. But as we all know, that kind of peace is often the calm before the storm.
And one day, a very formidable and totally unexpected visitor shows up at the palace gates. It's the great sage Vishwamitra. Now, this isn't just some friendly visit. His arrival carries the weight of destiny, and it's about to trigger a turning point that will change the lives of the young princes forever.
The sage makes a request, no, a demand, that sends a shockwave of fear through King Dasharatha's heart. He tells the king he needs one of his sons to come with him to fight powerful demons and protect his sacred rituals. And the son he asks for isn't just any of them. He says, I need Rama. So, what happens next? Well, that's a story for our next Explain.